All right, before we begin, let's thank our sponsors. Inspect All Pest Services, providing the highest quality termite pest and wildlife control. But that's not all. Inspect All Pest Services will take care of your insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and other home services in Metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. InspectAllServices.com. Big thanks to the Aurora Law Firm. That'd be one Mad Dog Manny Aurora and Pew Pew. The AuroraLawFirm.com litigates all of the United States, based out of Georgia, whether it's criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. That would be the Aurora Law Firm. Ridgeline Counseling, Dr. David Markwell and his therapist. 3 locations in Georgia, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains and East Cobb. Marietta near the square in McKaysville, just outside of Blue Ridge. But the good doctor can talk to you wherever you are at with a virtual session. Schedule that today via markwelltherapy.com or email him directly, ridgelinecounseling@gmail.com. FPC Insurance, perfect for new homeowners, or if you're just looking to reshop those current insurance policies, which is never a bad idea. 5-star service, shop over 35 A-rated companies, multi-policy bundle discounts. They'll help you shop for carriers to find insurance for your house, flood, auto, motorcycle, boat, recreational vehicle, or even a personal policy. 888-308-1841. You can always get a quote online, FBCInsuranceServices.com. Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia, family owned and operated. They are a Generac generator dealer offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators. Never lose power again. They're the best at what they do, hands down, no doubt about it. Every customer at Alternate Power Solutions gets an upgraded warranty, free monitoring with a service contract. They offer flexible financing, semi-annual and annual service contracts for existing installations, and warranty repair. A-plus rating with the BB&B. Call or request a free home assessment. You can do that by calling 770-853-7571 or go to poweringgeorgia.com. Don't forget the discount code Bailey, my last name, Bailey, for $500 off your entire installation, servicing Georgia and Tennessee. Jayco Contracting, gutter and roofing specialist. Give Cliff Bratcher a call. Two-peer Cliff Bratcher. This is the hardest working guy in the business and the most trustworthy. 770-316-3876. He works every day of the year. Don't worry about it. He's got you. Licensed and insured roofing and gutter specialist covering all of Georgia. They are a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, the creator of the Pink Panther, not the you know what I mean. Free gutter guards with the purchase of a roof. Satisfaction guaranteed, commercial and residential. JaycoContracting.com. And, of course, Cliff Bratcher, 770-316-3876. And Live Ozone Therapy Spa, Central Florida's first and only ozone therapy spa, also offering red light therapy, presotherapy, halo therapy, PEMF, and also chromiotherapy, plus many ozone-infused products online like the magnesium butter. You can go to liveozoneTherapySpa.com to book your appointment or to purchase any of those products. And for all 2 peers, if you use the code BS10, you get a 10% discount at checkout. All right, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, please reach out to me via thebaileyshow.com. Let's have a conversation, see how the BS podcast can help your brand. All right, let's begin.
What do we want to talk about?
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Welcome to the Bailey Show podcast. A guy show women love to listen to.
Intellectually immature nonsense.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
Okay, then, let's do it.
And there it is. Episode 354 of the BS. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey. Right there, that's the Bald Badger, Benjamin. Hello, Benjamin.
Hey, how are y'all's doing today?
We all's doing good. There's Melissa Fox with 2 X's. Hello, Melissa Fox.
Hey, Yuns, how you doing?
We all's doing good today. The Mad Dog Manny Aurora will join us to answer some legal questions that you've sent me. Also, I have a big thank you to give to the Mad Dog Manny Aurora, which could possibly help a lot of your wandering minds out that's listening. So we'll get to that when we get to Manny. I want to start off this podcast episode with talking about this fishing trip that I went on. And I got to tell you, it was more, look, I don't know what it is. I need to redesign this entire podcast, this BS, and throw it out the window and just talk about turning 50 and how your body changes. I mean, it is a thing. Like, I just didn't realize how much of a thing it is. You observe more, you recognize more, you put up with less bullshit. I mean, there's just so many things that happen when you're turning 50.
All that.
All that.
Did a fish kick your ass? Is that what you're getting to?
No, listen to this. It was a God, and you also get like weepy woo woo, and I'm not a weepy woo woo guy.
Getting in your feels with the fish.
Yeah, Melissa Fox, what does that look? You're looking at me like weepy woo woo. Do you not strike me as a weepy woo woo guy?
No, it's not that. Actually, I do. I'm sorry, fish.
See, this is where you guys are getting it all out of whack. It has nothing to do with the fish. So I reconnected with an old listener of mine, a friend of mine. His name's Kevin Barfield, and he owns Scallywag Charters out of Melbourne, Florida. And when I lived here prior, we would go out quite often. And he taught me, for the most part, how to deep sea fish, and we had a good time. That's the video that's still on YouTube, The Legend of Bullet Shark, where I take the gun and I shoot the shark. And I caught cobia for the first time years ago, which then became my favorite fish. And I talk about it like I know what I'm talking about, which probably I don't. And so Jeremiah fucking Sample, my buddy, an electrician from Atlanta, I flew him down because I had some work that needed to be done at Alive, and at the house. We added another Hocket sauna because business is going so well. We needed another Hocket sauna to administer ozone therapy. So anyway, part of the trip was JFS and I were going deep sea fishing with Kevin and Scallywag. So we get up at 4 a.m. We head out to Melbourne. We get to Kevin's house about 6. We go to get on his boat, and his son's with him. Now, I'd never met his son. His son is about 16 years old. Nice young man.
Good deckhand age.
Well, no.
It's a good age for it. He might have sucked.
No, this kid can run his own charter business.
Oh, nice.
He is a genius. This kid is a genius. And I'm talking to him, nicest, most polite kid in the world. And I'm talking to him and I'm saying, how's school? And he goes, I do it from home. I do it for a couple hours and, I'm done. He goes, my life is fishing. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, that's all I want to do. I get up at, 3 o'clock in the morning. I come out and I clean this and I get ready to go fishing and stuff. And then the days that I have to do the school, I do the school and the school's done. And then I get back out there and I go fishing. And sometimes we take trips to here and we do fishing. His whole life at 16 is fishing. He has got a love and a passion for fishing that I've never, ever in my life experienced a love and passion for anything. And that makes me as a human being very, very sad.
Oh.
I look back and I go, I've missed out on 50 years of being extremely passionate about something. And I wonder how many people, at whatever age you are right now, are you extremely passionate about anything? Like to the point where you would give up everything around you in order just to do that. Melissa Fox, is there anything in your life that you're that passionate about?
Yeah, it was radio, Jason. Duh.
Right.
And I also grew up in an island off in New England, so I know a lot of guys and gals whose passion for fishing, scalloping, pulling up oysters and the like started at a very early age, and the commitment is there. And yeah, I know a lot of people who are like that, who actually have a dream and do everything they can to achieve it. And I think you're looking in the wrong direction, Jason. I believe you're on your way and you are achieving your goals. Ben, I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
Andy, how you doing over there?
She got it right. Don't correct her when she gets it right.
Ben, I don't know much about you, but I believe you're probably on the right path as well.
Well, okay.
I'm on a different chapter. We'll get there.
So your first answer, radio. I'll get back to that in a second. Yeah. Ben, yours was without a doubt, I think, music.
Underwater basket weaving. Oh, okay, yeah. The music.
I'm really good at that too.
Water polo, music, right? I mean, you were
definitely
radio played band back in the 2000s. You still play music with the good old boys. You're an amazing vocalist and an amazing frontman. Like what you see here of the Bald Badger is nothing like what you see when he's fronting the good old boys at a gig. He's a totally different person, which makes him good, because he's able to go back and forth. So as we get older, when we look back, and I'll get into the whole fishing stuff and what we caught here in a second, but this is the deep thought that I was having the entire trip. Right?
I'm old.
It's not so much that, it's so much that this younger generation has a passion for something and they don't let anyone deter.
Don't.
Absolutely.
50%.
Okay. Well, you look at social media and you look at the accounts. Now, I know it's a small percentage, right? I know everybody likes to say, well, it's the majority, everybody's doing it. That's not even close to being true. But you look at, especially the younger generation that has a focal point on, let's say, their social media channels. I mean, again, I'll agree with you. It's a small sample size, right? There's billions of people out there, small sample size. So you go, that's awesome that you are so into what you're into that you have pushed everything aside. You've blocked out the noise and focused on that. And that's cool. I know growing up, at least in my bubble, it was like if you were fixated on one thing and you had a passion for one thing, you almost got made fun of. It was almost, even from your parents, it was like, you need to get out and do more. You need to explore more. You need to get other interest versus just one interest. I don't think that's the lesson that's being passed down anymore to the kids. It was like Gen X's were programmed to be a jack of all trades, to learn as much as possible, to be educated on as much as possible, versus I see, my daughter, she's going to be 20 in a week. She still from 8 loves hair, like doing hair and makeup and those things. And that's what she wants to do. She's going to the University of Alabama, getting her business degree. She's got a plan. She's got an internship lined up. She's got an apprenticeship lined up. Then when she's done, we've already talked about, the next step, her opening up her own place. I mean, holy shit. Dude,
I saw some fingernails that she was responsible for, and they were fantastic, actually.
The sparkle really works on you, Jason.
I know. She
does
my nails. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this kid. His name's Brock, by the way. And I'm just like, maybe a couple years ago, I would have said something to him like, you need to focus more on school. Like, what are you talking about? You're not planning on going to college, like 3 hours online. You're not even going into school. You're not getting those, the social, aspect of school. And probably one of the first times in my life that I've never said that or thought that. I'm going, good for this dude. He's got a plan at 16. He loves to fish. He's going to be the best charter captain in Melbourne or wherever he goes.
He'll have some competition from the cussing guy.
Yeah, that's in Tampa. That's on the other coast. But yeah, if he's even in business,
they can fight it out for the title.
That's what I told him. I said, like, whatever you do, don't board another person's boat and cuss them out. But I'm sitting there and, we do the fishing trip and towards the end when we're coming back, I'm sitting there, Kevin's driving the boat and, we're tired and we had a great day. And I said to him, I go, look, dude, I know it's been some years since we've talked. But I got to tell you something. And I said, this entire trip, I've been watching you and your son. And, this coming from a bastard, a guy, I know it sounds creepy, Ben.
No, I'm glad you included him. This whole trip, I've been watching your son. That would have sounded way worse.
Just been watching closely how he glistens off the water and the sunshine.
Oh, Brock.
So I said to him, I go, Kevin, it's really amazing. You've done a very good job raising your son. You are the definition of a fantastic father. And he looks at me and he says, man, I really appreciate that. Like, I'm sure people don't tell him that very often. And if they do think it, they don't say it out loud. I was just so impressed, and selfishly, I'm impressed because I never had that. And the passion thing, the father-son thing is one thing, but the passion thing was another thing. Because like Melissa Fox, my passion since I was 21 years old was radio, and it's now out of my life, for the way that I once was doing it. And so I'm not whining about it. I'm just saying
No.
it's time.
Sad.
It's really sad. And it's in the industry's past, it's just not there for me. Right. And nor do I know if I would want to go back, to be honest with you, just the way that things are being done and the way that they want to do it. And the way that,
Jason, when the steel mills open, you and I have jobs.
yeah, we have very low paying jobs in a high position.
Yeah.
You sound like you could be talking out of my mouth about music. It's the exact same thing for me. I look back on my music career and how much time and effort I put into it, and every waking hour went into making that a thing. I look at the music industry now, I wouldn't want to be a part of it the way that it is, and I don't think that people want us to be a part the way that we used to be. But here's a totally different animal.
Here's the flip side to all of our arguments, because I know one person listening right now is thinking this, because I'm thinking this as well, and I think about this often. It's not them, it's you. It's us. It's like you're like sitting here going, you guys are talking about how it's not the way that, well, how are all these other people existing in it? Well, they can, I don't know. I mean, I don't have an answer for it other than the fact that they know how to play the game better than I ever knew how to play the game. And I thought I knew how to play the game fairly well. Different strokes, different folks, different situations for different people.
Adapting,
different pay for different talent.
Yes and no, because, and I want to say this is probably 20 years ago. Live Wire, I think it was Hard Rock Live, right? So one of the bands I was managing was doing one of the shows, and you know how they put, obviously they always play music at a concert hall before the bands start, and this guy had an iPod in his hand and he was playing music off an iPod, the front of house dude, and I went, there goes, there fucking goes, it's over. It's over. Mm-hmm. No, that was the slap in the face. And I'm talking, like I said, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. I looked at it and went, everything has changed. Mm-hmm. I knew it was an iPod. I knew it right then and there. Mm-hmm. And it saddened me.
I just, with the radio business, and I still talk to a lot of people in the industry, not just talent, but in management and programming. Sure. And they all say the same thing. Like, none of them are happy. And they all trash the business. But it's like, it's the worst kept secret ever. No one wants to do anything about it. I mean, I had a extremely high ranking person in one of the big companies that I was talking to not that long ago. Great guy, fantastic human being. And we were just chit-chatting. There was no ulterior motive for this conversation. We were just chit-chatting. And the exact words that came out of his mouth were, I'm just trying to survive. And which meant that anything else that exists, creative or any of those types of things, don't exist. So then, you look at the trickle down effect and go, okay, well, if that's the mindset for radio companies of just trying to survive, the talent, some of them think that way, but I want to think the best in most talent that still have, especially if they've been doing it long enough, they want to be creative and they want to do things. And hopefully they're trying to do things in from their mind and not pushed upon by somebody trying to live vicariously through them. And so if it's watered down, which most likely it will be because it has to go through an extreme filter system, then the audience gets used to that. And so what the radio audience was used to in the 90s. Now, I'm not saying that's going to play today, no, but I can definitely make the argument is that stuff that was on the radio in the 90s and even early 2000s was way more creative than anything that you hear or see today. By far, the internet is what radio used to be in the 90s. Mm-hmm. TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, the stuff that those kids are doing on social media without any rules, restrictions, or someone trying to live vicariously through them, they're the one. That's why it's beating up radio, is because they're the ones that are clever and creative and can do that. Are radio people that clever and creative? Absolutely. They just are not allowed to do the things, and they can't execute those things. They don't know how, or they're being held back. So the audience suffers. So the radio listener that's used to free radio, terrestrial radio, is thinking that this is all that it has to offer. That makes me sad. That makes me sad. So
remember the days of Happy Harry Hard-On and pirate radio?
Oh, Happy Harry Hard-On.
Come on now, that was a movie.
I know.
But it was real.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was it Christian Slater, right?
Oh yeah,
Slater.
Slater. Yeah, they had to change that around, didn't they? Hard on Harry was actually the real name of the guy.
Everybody knows. Yeah, I think something along those lines.
The movie was called Talk Hard, I think.
No, the movie was Pump Up the Volume. Talk Hard was his catchphrase.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Was it? Oh, okay. Yeah. That was a great
bar it if you got a DVD player.
Radio people look at Stern's Private Parts as the Bible of radio. Go and watch that movie. That gives Howard a run. Howard's movie is the epitome of the radio Bible. There's no doubt about it. But
WNBC.
WNBC.
Because it is exactly what talent goes through. And still to this day, it holds true. It's like one of those movies that you'll go, oh, that doesn't exist anymore. It's still the same people do the same things as that movie to everybody, not just the Howard status. Because remember, when Howard was going through that, he was a big deal, but he wasn't a big deal. He was just a radio guy that got hired in New York to do afternoon drive. That's all he was. And he was able to buck the system. Now, if you were to pull that, they don't care how good you are. I saw a comment from someone on LinkedIn and radio. I don't know this person. I don't know if they're in my connections or not, but they're part of, I guess, a marketing or branding company that works with radio. I have no idea. But I saw a lot of radio people like this comment. And the comment that this person made, who I believe was the owner, said, I don't hire assholes. There, I said it. Right. And then, all these people are commenting of like, yeah, that's how you do it. And I'm going, nobody wants to hire an asshole, right? Like you don't search for the asshole to hire. They become one usually because of the position that they're put in, right? Like the guy that hired me in California, I knew he was an asshole, but he was like my asshole. He was a friendly asshole. Like I got him. I understand.
But did you become someone else's asshole?
Hey.
Well, yeah, I did because he was management. I was not. I left at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. He was there the rest of the days in order to have conversations about me that I'm not a part of. That's how that works. So the more you chit chat, the more it's believable and you're not a part of it. Right. So you become, and that's just not me, but it happens a lot. You become the asshole from the asshole, right? So the asshole makes the asshole. So you got two assholes. And that's like
talking shit.
Sorry, I can't do this math. It's too much. And no one said there would be math on the BS.
Scientifically,
Common Core.
Yeah, scientifically, you can't have two assholes. But I've seen it. It's disgusting. I'm telling you.
No, it ain't.
Too much asshole for you, Melissa Fox.
I thought you'd be the one to flinch, Bailey.
Yeah. Now I know what I'm talking about with the ass. So anyway, so it was like a weird fishing trip because it was
there was a fish with two assholes.
It was just an odd. It was extremely enjoyable. We had a great time, but like what I got out of that fishing trip was not your normal fishing trip. And again, it's because I'm about to turn 50, and it's because I have to swallow a lot of pills lately that I never thought I'd have to swallow. And I'm now swallowing. Not sitting, I'm swallowing. All from the two assholes. But
stop.
From the fishing standpoint, it was a good day. We went way out deep sea fishing. We went trolling first for mahi. Didn't catch a thing, but Kevin's son Brock caught his first sailfish.
Cool.
I've never seen it in real life.
Big cat boy.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like the fish and the fin and it jumping out of the water.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's just like you see in the videos. It was really
But
cool.
you're there.
Yeah, I was there. I like literally saw it. I never got a picture with it, but I literally saw it. And he reeled that in, and then it was catch and release, and so that they didn't keep it.
Aw, poor sunfish.
And the thing was huge. I haven't posted. Maybe by now I've posted all the videos. I don't know, but so then we just drops and we just start fishing, and so as soon as our rods, as soon as the bait hit the water, we were pulling up rudder fish left and right.
Yeah.
No, not who.
Oh, those are the ones you like, right?
I never even heard of it before this fishing trip. They're part of the amberjack family. They're about 22, 24 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
So they're good size, a good fight. The trick was that we learned the hard way is that you had to bring the fish up, and they put on a pretty good fight, the fish up as fast as possible, because once you got it on, the boat was surrounded by bull sharks. Now, bull sharks,
they're aggressive.
Yeah, they'll get you. I mean,
they'll come up.
You seen the video of the Russian guy in the Red Sea that got eaten by a bull shark? They'll get you. So we have these good sized bull sharks surrounding the boat, eating the fish. So
how big was the boat?
About 24-ish plus.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah, we need a bigger boat.
Not small enough where you felt like anxiety about the bull sharks being around.
Oh, no. I wasn't worried about the bull sharks, but it was cool, like to see all these bull sharks. Like if I fell in the water, I would be worried.
Yeah.
That would be a problem. So when you get the rudder fish up to the top of the water, the shark's coming after it. So you're playing like kind of tricky tricks with the shark. And that's like the hardest part, right? Right when you get up to the water, that last little pull up. So you're like pulling up on the rod and the shark's like, "Arr!" And you're going, no shark, not today. And so you move the fish over and he goes, "Arr!" And then you reel up a little bit more. And then then another shark's coming. So now you're dodging 2 or 3 bull sharks. And they're going, "Row, row, row." And you're jerking them around with this fish. And I'm going, dude, if I fall into this water, these sharks are going to be way pissed that I'm jerking them around for their snack with this fish. So I better not fall in or I'm going to be eaten by bull sharks.
You will be the snack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they actually make this row, row noise?
No, that's the cat sharks. He got them confused.
Yeah, I thought so. Robin.
Tiger sharks.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's more of a row. Yeah.
Full disclosure, I inserted that. That was my.
Thank you. Sound effects are extra, people, but today they're free.
Yes, today. Well, yeah, and this is a free-based show, so yeah, they are absolutely free of charge.
Is anybody else in their head trying to figure out what an actual bull shark noise should be in this case? No, it's a horse shark. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
No, I got nothing.
I don't think they make any noise, to be honest with you.
But in this story, they got to do something. I guess
in this story, when I'm watching, I'm trying to get the fish there.
Florida Panther.
Yeah, it wasn't cat. It was more because they're jumping at it, trying to get it.
Sort of sounds like zombies. They ate your brains. No.
And then we caught a bunch of snapper, but we got to throw it back. In the state of Florida, you can't keep snapper. It's like one day out of the year or something, and you can only keep
like slot. No.
Well, we caught a vermilion snapper, which we were able to keep.
Okay.
But the normal snapper, and these things were huge that we were bringing on the boat, could not keep them. By law, you had to throw it back out there. So. So that kind of sucked, but we, bam, bringing it in. So finally we get back, Brock cleaned them all up for us. It was good to go. And, we got back home. It was about 7:00. We got back home. Rach was just getting home from Alive, and I fired up the grill because it was the only night I could grill out. I wanted to make dinner, not only for my wife, but for JFS. And I put these things on the grill, and you talk about some good tasting. We've been having fish for the past week. We've had fish tacos. We've had straight up fish in your face. We had fish sandwiches, had fish on my eggs the other day. We're going probably fish nachos at some point. Yeah, lots. My skin and nails are going to be awesome. Lots and
You
lots.
do have a nice glow.
You do, really.
It's because of the fucking fish.
Fish oil, yeah.
It's because of the fish. Deep sea fishing is therapeutic. Ben, is going through a thing, and he's getting ready to go on a road trip. Like, Ben's got so much stress, Melissa Fox. He's got a bulbous in the back of his neck. Like, he's got a knot, right? I can say that, right? You didn't want that to.
It's probably an ingrown hair.
It's definitely not an ingrown hair. It's on my back behind my scapula, and it's like a softball, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ozone's going to help with that. So you got to continue to do that. But stress is a son of a bitch. Stress can just fuck you up. Yeah. Just, I mean, it can put weight on you. That's where my weight.
No, that's next for you. You need to get the shingles shot. Okay, now that you're turning 50.
Who, me?
Because if you get shingles, it's worse than having. It's like, well, it's part of the chickenpox variety. So basically, it's like having an STD for 2 or 3 months. It itches, it burns, and most of the time, it ends up in places that have never seen the sunshine.
Only a couple months for an STD. That's nothing.
No, but it itches. It'll be across your breast, under your arm, across your rib cage, down your ass crack, underneath where your balls lay, things like that, where it's not very comfortable to begin with. And then if it gets hot and moist, then and itchy, and it hurts. It doesn't just burn and it tickle, it hurts.
I got to tell you, Melissa Fox, you'd make one hell of a doctor.
I'm a spokesperson, boy. I'll tell you. Yeah, no, and that's next on the list. I'm telling for you. So.
I do know a very prominent musician that had to retire because of shingles. They could not get over it, and they couldn't pick up their instrument anymore.
Yeah, no,
well, it's your guy, right? The guy you're telling me about from.
It's bad.
I don't want to say his name on air, but yeah,
no, it's bad.
We all know who he is.
Yeah. Well, that's why I didn't say his name, but their band just reformed the other week. How about that? Or after 13 years, played again.
Yes, yeah.
So that's on the list.
Without him.
Yeah. Okay, so stress is the shingles culture, because I know that we deal with shingles patients at Alive. I do know that. And there's a vaccination for the shingles.
Yeah, it's actually 2 serums, if you will, or therapies that you get one, and then you get the follow up like 4 months later, and it definitely helps eliminate the virus, but you still can get a little bit of it. Yeah. And if you do try to treat it, they give you straight up STD medicines. And well, the first time that I had to go and get it, my pharmacist, we're on a really good relationship. I've been going there for like 8 years. And she pulls me aside and she goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I got shingles. She goes, "Oh, okay." She thought I had some like major, village
protection.
Right. I'm like,
well, thank God I have a place where I can go that kills viruses. So, by the way, Melissa Fox, the invite goes to you as well, just as it goes to Ben, because of all the hard work that you guys do for and with me with the show. So if you ever, and you definitely need to come see us. I can change your world. Yeah. That's another conversation we can have about ozone therapy and what it can do for your life. But Ben can tell you, he's been coming to see us for months, and his diabetes count went from 10 to 7, in just a matter of months.
Wow.
Like that in itself blew my mind that it went down 3 points. When you're at a 10 with diabetes, that's the boiling point.
Right.
7 to 10 bad, but you get under 7, you're in that manageable zone.
Yep.
Right. Hey, let me put my Dr. Fox hat on again for you. Has anyone out there ever been told they have pre-diabetes?
No, I've not. No.
Well,
people in my family, not me.
No. Well, let me just clarify something about pre-diabetes. You're either pregnant or you're not.
How the fuck do you know about all this stuff?
Because I used to, I did a lot of brokerage shows, and I did a show called the Florida Roundtable.
Oh.
And so I actually interviewed people with all the different societies, all the different, like cancer screening and blood cancers and millions of different topics, men who are widowed and how to get back out there. Just like I said, a myriad of different important conversations that we enjoyed, had good time. It wasn't just like, yeah, if you have GERD, go ahead and do that. We had fun. We had actually had fun. We talk about farting and burping and things like that, and got around to the actual symptoms and solutions.
I used to be so anti-brokered shows just because I was so irritated that this non-radio person could pay money and have airtime. But now I've changed my mindset on it because podcasting is the new brokered program. Right. You just don't have to pay anybody for it.
I'd be their on-air producer. Never ever let them loose without someone like me. I taught them, or again, just like I did with the news thing before Howard Stern, I taught these people who spent a lot of money how to do radio, how to co-host a radio show, how to answer the questions, how to keep things moving, how to plot out a show. And I did a show for several years with a prominent doctor who stayed on top of everything and liked to be the smartest guy in the room. So I learned everything. And I retained it.
I'm getting ready to, which I'll be able to tell everybody about this in the next couple of weeks, but I'm getting ready to produce a podcast for a celebrity. And this individual, has a amazing background, but is on a different journey in life and wants to share their stories. And their stories are fascinating. Like wait till we start this, and especially start talking about this person's parents, especially the dad. The dad thing blew me away, who the dad was. I promise you, if you're over the age of 30, the dad, and you didn't even knew the dad, but you would see the dad all the time in any magazine you would pick up. Mind blown that this was this individual's father. But anyway, so I was pushing this person to do it by themselves, and I would produce it because I'm not in that bubble. I thought, a distraction, and it's not my show. It's all about this person and their story. So we had done a couple test runs, and this individual decided that it was best that I'm part of it. I just have to make sure that they're the center point, the focus. It's their podcast, it's their story. They are the celebrity. They have the audience. Their audience wants to hear from them. So I've come up with some little things that are interesting to do that, but it's going to be interesting for me as usually the guy on any show that I've done, for the most part, outside of when I started, to just sit back and be like, yep, okay.
I can give you tips on how to do that, though. I can tell you exactly how to do it.
It's not my style, but I have to learn to do this because I can help produce anyone's podcast. I mean, with the knowledge that, right? And that's the great thing about radio people. If you're able to step away from being the guy, and which I've got no problem doing, and in Dr. Dre, the situation, there's a lot of money in that. You just to kind of passing the baton to non-radio people in a podcast world to have them do their thing. But the knowledge that you have from radio is these people need it. I mean, actually, speaking of, let's welcome to the show from the Aurora Law Firm, theauroralawfirm.com. And it's the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora. He's a perfect example.
He has no talent when it comes to
no, when Manny and I first met, when I was working at the sports station in Atlanta, Manny, you were pretty green to the media business, right? At that time?
I mean, I had some experience, but not nearly as much until I got lectured and trained by you.
Lectured.
What we were just talking about, like podcasting is the new brokered programming, and, radio people producing other people's podcasts, as I'm about to do with this individual, the celebrity, and the knowledge that you have from the radio business, which unfortunately is on a downward spiral. I don't want to say dying industry, but just a downward spiral that you can pass on to help people, not only celebrities, but people like you, an attorney that have great stories and you're sitting there promoting your business. You know what I mean? I have a meeting, when I'm working on relaunching this whole feed, and one of the shows that I want to do is I want to do a health show. And so I have a meeting with a Indian guy, by the way, Manny, you'd like him. Doctor. And I don't
I probably know him. There's only 2 billion of us, so it's cool.
Yeah, racist, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
I pulled that when I met him because we work conducively together with our practices. So as far as referrals go, we're sending each other patients, which is obviously good for business. And this guy in the practice that he's with is dominant in Central Florida. And so I just felt the need to tell him about you. I know it's like the white man racist thing to do, but I'm like, I have a good friend that's from India. He's a big time attorney in Atlanta. And his response was like, oh, okay. I say, we call him Manny, but that's not his Indian name. I know his Indian name's not Manny.
No, you didn't. No.
I was trying to relate, Manny.
Trying to get some street cred for having a brown friend.
I got a brown friend. Wow.
I've acclimated, man. I don't want to get deported. I don't want my naturalization taken away. I'm saying nothing bad. I support government.
Right.
All right.
I got to say that the salt and pepper beard really gives you more of a Spanish flair, though, man. You're good.
Oh, that makes it even worse. I am not Spanish.
Look, we'll give you a couple thousand if you go quietly.
Okay.
Pay for your
How do those people collect when they self-deport?
I'm sure they get a voucher, right? I mean, I'm guessing it's not cash. They'll just get a voucher.
Yeah, I'll believe it. We'll send it to you when you get there. Send us an address.
Yeah, it's the airlines. They probably have some deal with an airlines like, so you're going to get 15,000 Southwest Sky Miles. That's
the USA IOU.
So when you decide to come back, you can use your Sky Miles to come back into the country. That's how they're going to do it. First, before we start anything and talk about what's going on at the Aurora Law Firm, based out of Atlanta, Georgia, but litigates all over the United States, the AuroraLawFirm.com. Who's that dude?
That's Charles, one of our other lawyers. He's here getting ready for trial tomorrow.
Good boy, Charles. Go get him, buddy. You got this.
Win, win, win.
Yeah. He looks like he's about to take care of business. I like Charles. I don't know him, but I like Charles.
Yeah.
I got to thank you for a couple weeks ago when you were on, Manny, actually saying that Paradise on Hulu is the best television show you've ever watched.
In a decade, not ever, but at least in the last 10 years that I can remember.
I'm not going to disagree with you. What a fantastic show. Fantastic show.
And it's quite relevant to today almost.
It's scary relevant, right? I mean, there's a lot of kind of unsaid, analogy type of things going on. But for those that aren't familiar with Paradise, you want to explain it? Like a synopsis of it?
It kind of ruins it, though. I mean, like first episode, you don't see what's coming. And if you explain it, it just kind of sort of defeats the whole
No
purpose.
spoilers. No
So
spoilers.
you just have to see it. It's like nothing you've seen before. It's acted exceptional.
Who's in it? Anybody we know? How about that? Can we go that route?
You might, but they're not like super A-list people, but the acting is unbelievable.
As long as the acting's good, I'm in.
The woman that played the governor in Yellowstone is in it.
Okay.
If that helps you out, because that's really the only person that I recognize.
And Jack Nicholson's daughter is the billionaire, in it.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's Jack Nicholson's daughter, the lady with the freckles.
Oh, that's the governor from Yellowstone.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, I didn't know that's who she was. Wow.
I think that's who it is.
Yeah.
But again, it's not household names, but these people can act, and except for the main guy. That's
the main guy.
Some rom-coms. I can't remember his name, but he's the handsome.
So Manny's right. Like if I can't. It's
you can't explain it without ruining it, Jason.
Yeah,
just don't try.
Yeah. So he's right. You can't. I don't even know what they put like on IMDb because you don't know what's going. Like the whole idea of where it's. Like
don't even say it, Jason. Don't even say where. Just it's Paradise. Just go to Hulu and watch it. It's worth
James Marsden is the lead actor.
Yeah. What else has he been in?
He's done a lot of stuff.
Come on.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, and you can't name any of it.
Man,
Oh, he was in The Notebook.
he's
Wow.
in the
He's also
Notebook.
about
He's
that?
in the end of
Dresses
the
or something like that.
world. The end of the world one where all the guys are pot smokers and stuff, and he's in something that's sort of like Alice in Wonderland. There's some
Okay.
like
James
really-
Marsh. I've heard the name before.
weird
He
crap.
does a lot of rom-com stuff because he's handsome. I think he was in 40 Wedding Dresses or whatever a while ago. That was
Man.
pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of little chick flicks. This James Marsh. Well, he's a Secret Service agent. I can say that, but it's not what you think on where he's doing his job.
Okay.
Don't ruin it, man. Just leave it.
Oh my God.
All right. So we have a question for Manny from our listener.
I can explain everything, but I never realized that I would not be able to explain this television show without ruining it. But
You've gotten legal advice not to.
it is so good.
Don't ruin it. I'm in a show hole.
And
It's
it's
what I tell my clients. No fish ever got caught by keeping its mouth shut, but they keep talking.
what's the worst case scenario you've had with a client that opened their mouth, especially on social media?
It's been bad. We've had good facts, and social media just kind of ruins it. Or they talk to people or text with people, and especially the jail calls where people try to be clever. The
Yeah.
stuff's recording everything they'll call. They tell you, but they'll try to use somebody else's, jail card to make the call. And what I tell them is it's all voice recognition software. Like when you check in and give them your name and address, it's recording all of it and it knows. And so I just don't get it. But people don't listen or think they can outsmart it. And we've had great cases. Next thing you know, there's a confession playing to somebody's girlfriend in code. And it's like, well, that's that.
It's kind of like a reality show, I'd think, where you kind of get used to the cameras and you don't realize that they're there. So, when you hear these phone calls with people in jail, and even when they try to talk in code, they do it poorly. And you're going, are you that stupid to even mention it? Like, talk about something else. Talk about bananas, talk about oranges, talk about, lunch meat. But you're talking about the case, and then you'll allude to the fact like, well, I don't really want to say much because I'm sure they're recording. You're sure? Yeah, I'm positive that they're. Have you not watched television? Did your lawyer not give you any advice? But what I will say is that, where I used to park my bike when I was younger, take a look around there because something sharp might have been left there. Like, they're not going to figure that out. Like, the clues that they leave are stupid.
Hypothetically, if I were to have done it, I might have done it this way.
And they always think that they're too smart for the room, which is not the case.
Yeah, you're giving them a lot more credit than they deserve. After all, they are in jail.
But not everybody that's in jail is stupid, Manny, right?
No, there's a lot of smart police folks, and there's a lot of smart defendants. It's generally on the violent criminal or the gang stuff. It's just showing off that gets you caught. They can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a bunch of gang experts that look like you guys, which would have no idea what it is, but we look at social media and we talk to people, and they get you. It's all.
Are you saying I don't look like a gang expert, Manny?
Yeah, you were out in the hood and stuff. I mean, we've actually had clients that we've asked that were convicted in prison that are gang members to come in and testify for us as to what a real gang is about, and it's kind of eye-opening for the jurors versus some middle-aged guy coming in and saying, we have this database that we put information into, and it's this. It's crazy.
What big case are you working on right now? What was old Charles working on?
Charles has got a drug case with a high-speed chase from South Carolina into Georgia with multiple cops that eventually led into a big crash. And the trial starts tomorrow.
Interstate, nice.
Yeah.
He's defending the guy that led the high-speed chase, obviously.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there were a couple of kids in the car at the time because had he stopped, there would have been a decent lack of probable cause to make the stop. But once the chase began, it just makes it interesting. And so once the chase starts with the kids in the car, even if they're asleep, it's cruelty to children felonies. It makes it worse. In our state, if you run from the police, it's a mandatory minimum 1 year in jail. You have to do it up to 10 years. And so every police car that gets in line, like from the Blues Brothers, you can
That's another
imagine
year.
like 100 years in jail, even if you don't know those cops are there. It's a very loose statute.
Do you get a year for every cop car? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for every cop car that theoretically is chasing you and that you're aware of. So if there's a line of cop cars chasing you, I don't know how you'd be aware of it, but the state will charge you just to squeeze you. So I'm hoping we can settle this to around 3 years, or maybe a little bit less, shorter trial tomorrow.
Why was he being chased by the cops? Or why was he running from the cops, I should say?
Well, there may or may not have been some accoutrements in the car that we
Hypothetically,
wouldn't want discovered.
Could be rad and dirty.
Yeah, you got a little sniffy sniff in the trunk, huh?
I mean, that's
So what do you tell this guy? You know, you say, hey, look, dude, you're done. We're, you know, our best bet is to get you only 3 years. So just prepare for 3 years, at least 3 years in jail.
yeah, because it's mandatory. Like for the 3 cops that arguably he would have known about, because there's one in front, one behind, and one to the side. So I don't think we could dismiss those. But you know, you save on the aggravated assault, the felony, cruelty to children counts, and all that. So instead of 100 years, you're essentially looking at 3. There's issues with the case. The indictment's defective. So we raised all that. So yeah, we had what they call a come to Jesus kind of situation, and you know, he understands.
Manny, is there any chance that you could really spin this thing and he could say he was abducted by the children, and then they get off because they're being charged not as adults?
Well, that would be really tough to say. How did the kids take him?
Because he was scared of them. They were very naughty children.
I'm waiting for the defense of my Tesla took over my car and I couldn't control it.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
If it would have been a Tesla type car, that's a good thing to think about. Pull up the software and just say, Elon took over.
You want to take a minute and jot that down and put that on your notepad for next
I
time?
don't think it works in an older gas car, but there'd be something.
So the kids somehow hijacked and broke into the car's computer and did it. So this guy's going to
on their little phones and
right, yeah. There's actually a Criminal Minds episode about that where somebody hacks into cars and just drives them right into trees, killing people.
That gives me an idea for a new game called Criminal Minecraft.
There you go. Don't have to worry about money ever again, Benjamin.
Done.
So do you look at that at the Aurora Law Firm and go, it's a win for us, or we're losing that case?
Lawyers like to spin things however, but I'm hoping after all our years together, you know, I'm pretty pragmatic. I mean, unless you get not guilty on everything, even if it's lesser charges, it's not really a win because somebody may be doing some time or there's going to be a record. Like I told you, 90% of my work is damage control. Most of the time, it's always overcharged. So we just try to do damage control to get it to the proper charges to a more reasonable sentence so it's not overdone. So I'd say 20% of our cases, the guy absolutely did it and they're charged properly. About 70% of the cases, the people probably did it way overcharged. And so we do damage control, file motions, challenge everything. And then the worst are the 10% that didn't do it. And that just rips you apart because you do everything you can and pray that you don't lose, because anything's possible, you know, in a jury trial, because they may not like the way you look. They may not like your tie, or they believe this fact. I've had at least 3 or 4 trials over the years I can think of where the jurors came back. A couple of them said, I wish I wouldn't have voted that way. I'm like, well, it doesn't change now. You can't tell the judge that. Once the verdict's been read, it's over. Like, well, you told me in jury selection that you can make a decision and you're going to rush into it and you'd stand up for what you believe. And you're like, I feel bad. Sorry. Well, too bad you guys doing life.
Well, outside of that case at the Aurora Law Firm, any other big cases you're working on now?
Yeah, so there's a huge federal case where they're accusing a lady of being like a drug kingpin or running money for the cartels in Mexico. Cool. And that'll be interesting. They indicted the entire family and, you know, stuff like that. And so, you know, we'll see where they go. They're alleging up to $150 million in money laundering. You know, part of my thought process, not being that deep in the case, is if you take money, even if it's from drug proceeds, and just ship it across state lines or whatever, that's not money laundering. That's just moving money. Money laundering is putting it in the bank, buying something with it. Now you've, quote, laundered it because it's mixed in with clean money kind of thing. Just moving it is nothing, or buying a Big Mac with it isn't money laundering it. It's like if you buy a house to hide it, cars, whatever. The problem should be, why are all these secondary dealerships taking cash? Because that's where the dealers go, because you can't, walk into whatever big Orlando car dealership is and say, here's $80,000 in cash, because, they'll report it. Whereas if you go to A1 Auto Sales, they may be a little bit more receptive and let you do $5,000 a month payments, so you don't have to do what's called an 8300 disclosure form.
Mm-hmm. So was this woman in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So the allegation is her husband perhaps may have been murdered by the cartel for skimming and left a lot of the money for his wife. So now suddenly she's, according to the government, top of the food chain, which I don't agree with that, but the money's theoretically still there.
She Mexican?
Yeah, everybody's Hispanic.
They're what?
They're Hispanic. I don't know if you're supposed to say Mexican or whatever, because our government has made it kind of derogatory.
Oh.
But yes, they're Spanish native language folks.
So
They're of Cortez descent.
Well-off Hispanics living in Atlanta, Georgia. A lot of money, big house. Husband died when?
It's been like 7-8 years, but it's not a big house. It's just if you go to the certain parts of Atlanta where it's more congregated a certain way, but a decent life.
Yeah, decent life. That's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. What do you think? You think she's tied in with the cartel?
I mean, I don't know. I would think so, if that's what they're saying. I just have to go through all the discovery and figure it out. But the problem is they always go for the low-hanging fruit. If one person's moving money to Mexico, that person will be replaced and they'll keep moving the money. It's not like they're going bankrupt. The point is, why don't we get these people and get them to work as informants, take care of them instead of demanding jail time? That's why I left government. It's like everybody just wants to get the easiest thing. I got 10 kilos of fentanyl from this guy. How about talk to him? How many other kilos are coming in and who are the other suppliers in the region? Maybe we do some control buys and figure out where in McAllen, Texas, the stuff's coming in from and what the semi-trucks look like. Because in a lot of these things with meth and fentanyl, they use working batteries. Like a semi-truck will have 6 or 8 batteries, if I think correctly. And you can if you take the battery apart in the open spaces, you can still put about 7 kilos of stuff in there. And you can transport it in the battery. So you can search the truck bed until the cows come home. And the drugs still get through, but we never go up the chain on any of it. And so I've got a couple of clients like that. They said, well, nobody's helping me make bail, so fuck them. Pardon my language. I'll tell, but the cops are like, meh, you're just going to sit in jail. Don't worry about it.
Isn't that fascinating, though, as an attorney, knowing that you're dealing with somebody that's dealing with the cartel and the money that they've got is cartel money? And you are sitting there and probably a little scared, right? You got to take care of this person. You're going to start getting knocks at the door.
That's what I was just thinking. How's your panic room?
Yeah, there's nothing to be worried about. As long as you put in your best effort, they know what you're doing. I mean, it's been 30 years of this shit. And at some point, as long as you're honest with them and tell them it is what it is, there's no, this isn't some other country where I can just go bribe somebody to do whatever. I mean, the facts are the facts.
Mm-hmm.
And so the funny thing is there should be this old saying that said, there are facts and then there's the truth, and you have to learn to live with both. The fact could be it's this, that, and the other, and it looks bad, but the truth is you didn't do it.
Right.
And so that's like sort of with this lady, the money's there, but that doesn't mean you're a drug kingpin.
Have you, do you have an update on our 2 peer that got the DUI?
I got to get permission to talk about that from the 2 peer, so I can't really tell you much about.
No. Is it good? Can you say
privilege
good?
Part of it?
Can you say
the case is pending. That's all I can say. I mean, it's there. It takes forever to get these things done. They should move very slow.
Yeah. Okay. So 1 out of 10, 10 being it's on the good side, 1 being not so good side.
Still trying.
Where are we at?
What case were you talking about?
The 2 peer DUI.
We'll be fine.
Okay, we'll be fine. It's a 6.
That's a fair answer.
That's a 6.
A fair answer. Yeah,
I'll give it a 6. All right.
I got a question for you, Manny.
Sure.
So I think I've learned you well enough to say with a good belief that you're a man of integrity, and you really believe that these people you defend just deserve a fair defense. We're on the same page, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had somebody come across, you're like, no, you're actually just a really big piece of shit, and I think you should get charged with more stuff?
I mean, there's a lot of people in what I do that are just horrible people.
Yeah.
But if I let my morality get in the way of something, then the entire justice system sort of collapses. Then you start believing in suspended due process and habeas corpus for people just because I'm the Lord and Savior and I can do whatever I want. Everybody deserves a fair trial. And if the cops effed it up, I'm going to find it and I'm going to hold them accountable. Otherwise, why do the cops get away with it? By doing mistakes, lying, doing all those other things. We're supposed to have a higher standard, and that's what I try to hold myself up to. I know I'm going to lose 90% of the cases, lose being a relative term, right? You get a better deal or whatever. Theoretically, if you're charged with murder and I get your probation, I've still lost because you didn't walk away, but it's not bad. But the point is to expose all that stuff. And generally people that hire us have money and that gives us resources to explain it all. So it's not that money buys your freedom. Money gets you to challenge everything, which usually leads to your freedom because there's a lot of F-ups on the government side. I mean, that thin blue line, it's very thin between being a criminal or a cop.
Sure.
It's just how it is.
All right, let's get to some questions for the Mad Dog Manny Aurora at the Aurora Law Firm from you. Anytime you got a legal question, just reach out to me. You can either DM me on social media, leave it in a post, email me, get all that information on thebaileyshow.com. And the next episode that the Mad Dog Manny Aurora with the Aurora Law Firm is on, we'll get to it if it's good. Hey guys, love the show. Here's my question for the Mad Dog. I just recently broke up with my girlfriend of 10 years. Things got weird when I walked in on her cheating on me with another guy. So I figured it was time for me to leave. During that 10 years, I helped raise her son from another dude. When I moved out, I realized that she kept a pocket watch from my great grandfather. Here's the kicker. This bitch gave it to her son for his graduation present and said it was from her family. Is there any way to get the watch back? Can I sue her or get her arrested for theft? She's claiming I gave it to her to give to the kid. I did not. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you can get it back by filing a claim. It's the same thing like when you're engaged and you break up, you can get the ring back, those kinds of things. So you just got to be able to prove that you didn't give it to her to give to the kid because you have feelings for the kid at graduation. So you probably need to bring some witnesses up and say, it's my property. I need to get it back after you broke up, just like going to get your socks and your shoes.
God, that kid's going to be disappointed. He doesn't have a pocket watch anymore, I'm sure.
What do you use a pocket watch for?
I think they're trendy again right now. I think it's like a cool thing. I don't know.
I mean, you got a freaking phone. What do you need a watch for?
Don't know. I see people with pocket watches.
Hipster stuff, man.
Yeah.
All the hipsters look alike, don't they? I mean, it's just like same haircut, same tattoos.
Hey, look, I got to tell you, the pocket watch look is cool. And I'm waiting for Apple to design a digital pocket watch.
So do you have to wear a vest to put it in the little pocket? So now everybody has a 3-piece on?
Yeah, you would have to, then you design clothes that have a little hook on it or something. I mean, there's a thing there that has not been tapped into. I could see the digital pocket watch trend being a thing.
You remember?
So what's left? I mean, where
you remember
baggy jeans?
Back in the day, boys, they had coats that were wired for MP3s with speakers in the roof. Remember that in the hood?
Yeah.
Yeah. They could do it very easily with the watch if there was actually a call for it. But the hipsters like the watch on the chain because they can flip it. And I think flipping an iWatch like that, I think it would last about 5 minutes before it cracked into something. And that was all she wrote.
Well, sling bags are big now too. Like the dudes, so it's not so much man purse, but it's sling bag. I mean, I carry one around, just because I don't like putting
still a fanny bag. You're just carrying it over your shoulder.
Well, it's a satchel.
It's a satchel. Indiana Jones had a satchel, and you could put the pocket watch on. Anyway, all right, just no. Okay. All right, so he can get it back, right? Yes,
that's different. That's different. Yeah.
That's a briefcase. And if you have to get your pocket watch out of it, it's not worth telling the time.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like if you got to search for it. All right. Next question for the Mad Dog Manny Aurora at the Aurora Law Firm, the AuroraLawFirm.com. Again, get me those questions via thebaileyshow.com. Hey, Mad Dog, I need some help. By the way, love you guys and keep doing what you do. Love the new additions to the show, too. The other week, I spent a few days in jail because I got arrested for an old warrant. But the way I got arrested, I think, is wrong. I got pulled over because the cop supposedly thought I had someone in the trunk of my girlfriend's car. I had some clothes in the trunk and one of the sleeves of a jacket was hanging out. I guess I slammed the trunk on it or something. The cop said that he had reports of someone trying to escape my trunk. Really? That's a really weird arm. So he pulled me over, ran my ID, and the next thing I know, I'm arrested for this warrant. Can he do that?
Well, it all depends on probable cause, but the newest technology now is when you go up and down the highway, you see a lot of these readers that look like square boxes with dots, and sometimes they're blue at night. Those are lasers that are reading your tags, and that's how they find people that have suspended licenses, cars, Amber Alerts, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So they could have done that to stop you if there was an active warrant, because that would have flagged it, because that laser reads thousands of cars a day and it alerts the officers.
Not the sleeve hanging out of the trunk, you're saying.
No. But if there's calls that have come that there's a person in the trunk of your car from concerned citizens or 911 calls, I would argue that that could be probable cause. I mean, watching a jacket arm flap, you know that's not a real arm. But if the officer's told that somebody jammed somebody in a trunk, you pull them over, it could be reasonable. Okay, so when we get there and we find it's just clothes, when he opens the trunk, that stuff's over, but they still, check your license and all that stuff. And then if it triggers it, that's a sort of a second part of the stop. So I think it's going to be okay, since he actually had an active warrant pending.
Yeah, that's crazy. Can you imagine?
I mean, I see people with those LSU tails on cars around Atlanta and things like there are Clemson tails on cars. So you see that, and then you see the reindeer tails around Christmas time.
It makes me think there's a real tiger in their trunk, though. It's crazy.
Could be.
I get a text from Ben all the time. Dude,
I
just saw another car with another tiger in the trunk. It's crazy. All right. Again, give me those questions for the Mad Dog Manny Aurora, thebaileyshow.com. Manny, you want to hang out for our newest segment? I don't think you've been a part of this yet.
I would. And could I follow up any strong response to my abuse questions that I asked maybe a week or two ago?
I had
when I was on.
I forgot about that, but I had a few people message me, and I think the video that I shared, my audience is very pro corporal punishment. I don't think I had one person say they pretty much reiterated what you said. It's like, if you can't take a little smack to the ass and you're the parent, what's this world coming to? Couple pussification comments, those types of things. So everybody was leaning towards the corporal punishment. I think one person went into detail and DM'd me on Instagram and said, interesting conversation, because I had been in a similar situation dealing with his girlfriend's kid, and the girlfriend got mad at him for spanking the kid, and she had the approach of, "You're beating my child," and it turned into a thing. I was going to reach out and actually try to get him on. I forgot all.
So what about the bruise? I mean, you guys were all sort of conflicted when I talked to you all. I mean, generally, if you hit somebody, even if it's not super hard, it's going to bruise. Especially if it's a kid. I mean, like my wife, if I can look at her sideways, she'll get a bruise.
Battle scars.
Potassium. She needs more potassium.
Battle scars. I mean, look, it's as long as you're not beating your child, right? And you're sitting there maliciously beating the child. But, look, I was beat when I was a kid for doing bad stuff. I never held it against anybody. Now, and here's actually something very interesting to your point. So my mom, when I was younger, would take the spoon to me. Sometimes, I don't know about the belt, but definitely the spoon. I never held it against her. There's a lot of things I hold against her, but that's not one. Now, my first stepdad, he would beat me, choke me. He was violent. He was doing it maliciously.
Was that Lloyd?
That was Lloyd. Yeah. Lloyd Lewis Cole. And so that guy, he will burn in hell for who he wasn't doing it to discipline me. He was doing it because he was angry and had a temper. So there's a difference. Now, I guess the big question would be, how do you decipher that in a courtroom, right? I mean, how are you supposed to?
Well, you talk about the facts and circumstances, and the kids don't hold it against them. It's just the world's gotten so sensitive that everything's charge. And then people are looking at years in prison based on cruelty to children at this point, but the facts will show that it was a discipline issue. It's not like I'm sitting there and you didn't get the beer fast enough for me, so I'm going to choke you out or put a cigarette out. I mean, this is a wooden spoon. It's this. It was done for this reason. I mean, they told the police this is why I did it. And because there's a bruise, off you go.
Well, also, I think that it has to do a lot with what is the punishment for? You know, like you said, you know, like why did you spank your kid and give this kid your bruise? Well, he didn't give me a beer fast enough. That doesn't fly, right? But he was at school. He was bullying a kid. He had bad grades. He wouldn't listen time after time. We tried different types of disciplinary actions. Didn't work. Finally, it got to this. Get a pass, you know. I think you do.
I hope so, but I mean, can you imagine losing tens and thousands of dollars of your money to defend yourself against disciplining your kid on a first issue, and the kid's fine?
Yeah,
it sucks.
Everything is case by case. You know, that's like the world is so generic where everybody puts everybody under an umbrella. Now, I understand there's certain things that will fall under an umbrella, like do not murder, you know, those types of things. But most things are case by case. So if you bring in a family that looks the part, acts the part, no history, and they spanked their kid and left a bruise, then you have to look at them and go, okay, well, you know what? Not a fan of it, but they don't have it. Now, if you bring in another family that's got a history of abuse and violence and this and this and that, you know, then I think you got something.
Right, but you should be able to discipline your kid. I'm just saying, now you're tainted in the community. You've got child abuse charges on you, which hopefully will win the case and we can get it expunged, but it'll still be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And you've caused trauma to the kids because the social workers are like, your dad's bad, you know, or your mom's bad. And you've shaken up the entire family. The kids are traumatized in that, why is dad or mom not home? Because we had the one woman case and we had the one father cases, the two different cases that just happened to come within a week of each other. Nobody thinks long term. It's just like, put in jail, put in jail, put in jail.
Well, win the case, then sue them.
Right.
Collect millions of dollars.
Well, you can't sue the police, so that's
sue somebody, and then win millions of dollars. So you don't care what the community says, and you live your life. That's what I'm working.
Only so easy. I'd be a much nicer office than what you see here.
Look, I wouldn't. You know, I know people put a lot of stock in what other people think. And if you're a business owner, unfortunately you do, but for the most part, you're never going to please everyone. It's not going to happen. You know, so you move on, you leave them in the past. If they've got nothing to do with your daily life, nothing to do with putting food on your table for your family, they're gone. You know, if they're not loyal to you, they're gone. And you just forget about them and brainwash yourself. So that'd be my advice to your clients. That's my advice to me, you know, in a lot of cases. Anyway. All right. This is our newest segment. It's called What the Fuck. It's where I find random videos, sometimes topical, sometimes not, and we discuss. Here we go.
What the fuck?
This one, most people have seen, I think, by now, but if you haven't, wow. Holy
what is going on? Oh, what? Dude, the bridge is shaking out there. We gotta keep moving.
That is a Mexican.
Why's she got to be Mexican?
Because it is.
It's got a large Mexican flag, a gigantic 147-foot mast, and a crew of 277 people that crashed in the Brooklyn Bridge this past weekend. They were celebrating Mexico's Independence Day, or independence in general. Why they were on this boat going through, you know, under the Brooklyn Bridge to celebrate that, I have no idea.
Tequila.
There's already a few deaths, many injured. What you don't see in this video is that on this 147-foot mast, there are people that are up there. They're side by side. So they're going through the water, and they're like da 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 Mexicans independence da 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 da, and go boo. What does this tell you? What does that video tell you? It tells you a couple things. One, they sure don't make them like they used to. Those guys that made the Brooklyn Bridge, that damn thing didn't budge at all.
No.
Two, the Mexican Navy, not so good.
Yeah, that's a naval training ship.
Yeah,
looks like a sailboat.
Yeah, it does. The Navy's way behind times in Mexico.
Yeah, not so good. Not a
pirate ship.
Not a good thing. Now there is, of course, more to the story. They said that there were mechanical issues that may have caused the ship to strike the bridge, like the power going out.
Power.
Yeah, so they said they lost power. The Brooklyn Bridge reopened. Didn't look like there was any little damage, maybe, to the Brooklyn Bridge. That was pretty badass to see that. And don't forget, not that long ago, what happened in Maryland with that bridge collapse when the boat hit it. So this is like the second boat to bridge in like a year. That's
we're getting hit with my giant, trawler or whatever that was versus just a wooden mast. It's going to be a big difference.
Huge difference. Huge difference. So the other thing is, did you see the reaction of those people that were on the ground as this gigantic boat that just got decapitated by the Brooklyn Bridge? How they reacted? They were laughing. They were giggling. They thought it was funny.
Because it was.
Just like, I don't know if you've seen the videos of the Antonio Brown fight, and then he pulls out the gun and he's shooting, and there's some streamers that are out there. They're running around laughing and going, oh my God, did you hear the gunshots? Oh my God, they're going to get, like, it was a video game. We are so desensitized to violence and destruction. Even in the moment, we don't think that it's going to affect us. That's how crazy we've gotten.
Did it affect them?
Well, no, but you never know. Like that boat's coming right at them.
No.
They just watched people die, and it didn't even register.
Right, exactly.
No sense of life anymore. There isn't.
Yeah, they don't know who's dead and who's alive, and it's horrific and stuff like that. I mean, you go back to 9/11, nobody's laughing when that happened. When those things hit the towers, everybody was like, "Oh my God!" But after that, we've become so desensitized to any type of violence, especially these young streamer kids. They're like, think it's hilarious.
You notice nobody says call 911. They're just laughing and chuckling and
recording. Like pull out your phone. There's so many videos of this out there. So they could have been using their phones to call 911, but instead they all filmed.
Someone else will get it.
Now we need more pocket watches so we don't do this stuff.
Right. Pocket watches, digital pocket watches that have a function like the Apple iPhone that you can call 911 just by pushing the thingy dingy on it a couple times. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Mad Dog Manny Aurora, the AuroraLawFirm.com. Remember, based out of Atlanta, Georgia, litigates all over the country. You need the best defense attorney in the world. It would be the Mad Dog Manny Aurora, hands down, without a doubt, shadow of a doubt. He's the man. Everything else okay? Tennis game doing well?
Work's unfortunately impacting my tennis game, but I'm going to try to crank it back up in June.
Yeah, I haven't played in over a year.
Well, you have injuries. I just have work, so I don't have that excuse.
No injuries. Just haven't played.
You guys know he's had everything, right? From ankle to knee. You got to watch him actually play tennis. He looks like a bionic person.
Look, it's 97 degrees. It's 97 degrees out there today. Manny has been all week. Will be for next few days. Tennis is not happening anyway.
Oh, I love playing in the heat. I 100 degrees. I love playing out in the heat. It was my thing. I would be so out of tennis shape it wouldn't even be funny. So I'm thinking about picking up
pickleball. I knew you were going to say that. You're definitely turning 50. Don't do it, man.
Don't do it, man. That's giving up.
He keeps spraining his wallet playing poker.
I know. Well, I'm done poker for a minute. There's definitely I need to substitute that. It's just been so busy, with the spa, the podcast, and a couple other projects that I'm doing, stuff at the house. It's just been so busy, and it crushes me because I had a goal when I left Atlanta and went to California. I wanted, continue to play. I mean, I was playing 4, sometimes 5 times out of the week, and I could never beat. I don't know if you know Wiley Brown. I could never beat him, and he's the nicest guy, and he's such a great, smart tennis player, and he coaches tennis at the high school at Lassiter. But I wanted to leave and come back and beat him. That was my goal, is to leave and come back and beat him. Screwed that up, you know. Like I lost a year of life, and there's no way that I'm going to be in better shape than I was before. So that would take another year, and then I'm going to be 51. That's going to be a problem. So anyway. So all right, Mad Dog, thank you very much. I'm going off to the Bahamas. Wish me well.
All right.
A couple days. The Bald Badger, Benjamin, you got anything before we get out?
I think we should mix poker and pickleball somehow, so you have all your bases covered.
Pickle ochre. Gotcha. Melissa, you got anything before we get out?
No, the space for rent. Thanks.
Oh, excellent. Sponsorship. Yeah. Manny.
And Narf.
Yeah, Manny, do you have any parting words? Do you have anything before we get out?
Just be open-minded.
Just be open-minded. That's good. Give us a like, share, follow on all social media. Listen to the BS. You can get all of our details on thebaileyshow.com. Don't forget Saturdays on WJRR in Orlando and Planet Radio in Jacksonville. You can hear a condensed version of this podcast on 2 different radio stations in Florida. If you're not in the listening area, you can always get it on the iHeart Radio app. If you're a sponsor looking to come on board, please reach out. Again, you can go to thebaileyshow.com, get all of my information. This is a free Bay episode. If you'd like to subscribe and get all of the episodes, you can do that on the website as well. We'd appreciate you. All right, have yourself a great, safe, rest of your day. As always, appreciate the support. Talk to you soon. Hey, bye.
Thanks for listening. Till next time, check out thebaileyshow.com. Make sure you like, share, follow on all socials. I leave you with these parting words.
Never got a pink slip either. You know what I would get? A guy would come around to my desk and say, "Get the fuck out of here!"
What do we want to talk about?
Subscribe at thebaileyshow.com.
Yeah, baby.